Hey guys, welcome to this lesson. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about basic branding. And I'm talking basic. How do we make sure that your site feels like at least its own little brand and not like a generic site like many other affiliates do around? Well, that is what we try to do on Health Ambition. That is what we try to do on Authority Hacker. And our branding is definitely not worth of a Fortune 500 company, but it's definitely, people recognize us, people recognize our images, people recognize all our stuff. But what are the elements that make us recognized? Well, there are three things that are very easy for people to recognize. The first one is colors. You can see that we have the different shades of green on Health Ambition, and we have different shades of orange on Authority Hacker. And most likely our golf site here is going to be turning some kind of like dark green to remind people of the grass. The other thing that people remember is the fonts. The fonts we use on the website actually set a lot of the tone. So you can see I use this plugin called What Font that we use Railway on Health Ambition for the titles, and we use OpenSense for the paragraphs essentially. And these two fonts, set the tone for the website. And third thing, what sets the tone is the logo. The logo is always on the top left of the website, so when people see it on images as well and so on, they know that it's us. So we're going to be talking about setting up these three things for your website so that we can transform this stock theme here into something that feels a little bit more branded. Now, I'm just going to be ordering the logo in that video. I'm not going to have the logo, so I'll probably just post the logo below the lesson, but I'm just going to show you the brief I'm putting together. But first thing first, let's talk about colors. Colors are the most important thing, and what I like to do is I like to go on brandcolors.net. And essentially what brandcolors.net does is it gives you what is called the hexadecimal color of big brands. So you can see like AOL is here, you can see Android is here, you can see about.me is here, Adobe is here, etc. And essentially this code that you see, this FBB034, is the code for that specific orange. So you are able to take brand colors, brands that have spent literally millions of dollars in design and branding, and model your brand after well-known colors that people all have in mind. Now, because I'm doing a golf site, I'm going to look for a green one, and I'm not gonna make this video too long, so I'm gonna pick the green from Barnes and Nobles. I think it's perfect. It's a dark green, and I'm going to be applying that to my website. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to copy that code here, and I don't really need to understand it. I'm going to go on my site, and I'm going to click on Customize. Depending on your theme, that may be different. If you're using a Thrive theme, it's going to be exactly the same. And in that case, I'm going to try to change the header here at least and the footer, right? So I'm going to go in header, and I'm going to be picking header type, custom color, and select color, and here I'm just gonna be pasting my code. And you can see now my green on top is exactly the same color as these brand colors one. So I'm gonna put that here. Now we are going to run into our first limitation with Thrive themes, and you're gonna have limitations no matter which theme you pick. But in that case, you can see this is still blue, and I can't really change the colors here. I can only change the header for some reason, and the footer is the same. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click Save and Publish. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna go into my dashboard, and in Thrive dashboard, theme options, I'm gonna be able to go in style and layout settings and at least set some green. I know it's not gonna be exactly the same green, but at least, I doubt people are gonna compare, and the header and the footer are gonna be quite far apart. So I've at least set up some green here. So let's just look at what the site looks like here. You can see some green. The green is like not exactly the same, but almost, and I think it's good enough for now. If I wanted to do some customized stuff, I could definitely hire a designer on Upwork or something. That's probably something I'll do in the second stage of the website when it's making money already. Then I'll spend some more money. But for now, I'm happy enough with the colors. Now, if you didn't find what you liked on brandcolor.net, there's another site that I recommend, which is colors.adobe.com. If you click on Explore, you can see a bunch of color palettes that have been put together by like professional designers. So you don't need to hire a designer to find your brand colors. Just go on there, and essentially if you go on info for one of these, you can then click on edit copy, and here essentially you have the hexadecimal code that you can use inside your website, and you can pick 2, 3, 4, or 5 of these colors. They usually go well together, and that's an easy way to also put a color palette together. So that is the first step, which is finding your brand colors. And now we essentially have that on our site. You can see we have our green, and we're going to be reusing that in the logo especially. Now, the second step is finding the fonts for your website. And for finding the fonts, once again, I'm not a professional designer, so I go on fontpair.co, and essentially that website, all it does is it puts together fonts for titles and for the copy of the website that go well together. So in my case, I think I picked, so in my case, I'm going to use Oxygen and Source Sans Pro. These fonts are essentially Google fonts, so if you're using Thrive themes, you're going to have it installed in there. If you don't, I actually linked to a plugin that allows you to use Google Fonts as well, so you'll be able to also do that. In that case, I'm going to do it in there, so I'm going to use Oxygen and Source Sans Pro. So let's go in my Thrive options and go back essentially into my appearance and customize, and I'm going to be able to change my fonts here. So headline case, I'm going to put it regular, and I'm going to put the font called Oxygen. Here we go. I have everything here, Oxygen, save. So now you can see my fonts changed here, and the second font was Source Sans Pro, which I think is a pretty simple font, but I like it. So I'm going to go back there, and I'm going to choose my body font and Source Sans Pro. Here we go. And I'm going to keep the options as they are normally. And that's basically it. I have my couple of fonts. I like it. It's pretty big. It's pretty easy to read. I'm going to keep it that way. Maybe I'm going to reduce the font size a little bit, but I'm going to increase the line height to something even like 1.9. Yep, here we go. So I've increased my line height, and I've made the font a little bit smaller, and I'm going to keep it that way. So you can see now the site starts to feel a little bit more branded. In terms of color, I'm probably going to make my body text a little bit darker so it's easier to read. Something like this. I'm happy with this, and I think it looks pretty good overall. Now, another thing I'm going to change is I'm going to change the color of my links as well. On all my sites in general, I like to keep my links blue, because blue is the color, the original color of links on the internet. So I like to do that. I like to keep them blue. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. My links are still blue, and people can click them. And overall, I am pretty happy with where things are at right now. So I'm gonna save and publish, and I have my font set up, I have my colors set up, and my site starts looking a little bit more like a real site. Now, the last thing I need is a logo. You can see I still have the stock theme logo here, and obviously I am not a logo designer, so the first thing you can do if you really want to start your site right away is just to put text here, which I'm going to do right now so that you can see how you do that. So I'm going to go into my theme options once again. I'm going to go into logo, and I'm going to change it to text, and I'm going to change the color to orange. Yeah, that's fine. Scale Golf. It's probably not going to look very good, and I'm definitely going to order a logo for that site, but at least it's going to be replacing the stock logo. So in that case, you can see that my fonts are here, the line height is here, the header fonts are here, and you can see now it's written Skill Golf here. Doesn't look very good. It deserves to have a proper logo, but you know, if you want to start your site right away, at least you have something. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and order a logo. And you kind of need to add your brand colors and your fonts first, because when you're going to be ordering a logo from a designer, you're going to be giving him all these things so that he can, you know, adjust to that and make sure that the logo fits with everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Fiverr, and I've, you know, linked to a bunch of threads on Fiverr that you can order from below. And, you know, I found this guy which I think makes pretty good logos. And it starts at $5. So it's really not a big budget problem to order for $5. In my case, I'm going to order the $45 one because I want the vector file that allows me to scale the site later and, you know, like make more branded stuff. So I'm definitely going to do that. And what you want to do is you want to put together a brief for your logo. So let's just look at the brief I've prepared, and it's going to be linked below as well. And it is a pretty simple brief. You don't want it to be too long. I mean, if you only pay the guy $5, you don't want him to read for a long time. Otherwise, they're not going to be interested. So the first section of your logo brief is going to be the business description. Essentially, you just explain you are a content site that is going to do in-depth content plus reviews, and you give your domain so that he can actually check, what you've done so far, which is this, and he can see your fonts, he can see the colors you're using, etc., and he can inspire himself from that. And I like to put together modern logos, so that's why I said I would like to put a logo that feels modern and respects the codes attached to this document. Logos I like to actually go on that page, which I'm going to link to as well below. It's called logospire.com. Essentially, it's a big list of pretty high quality logos that you can give to that guy so that he gets an idea of what you like. So in my case, I picked some kind of like flat stuff and pretty simple stuff. So like that wave, I really liked it. I really liked that little heart as well, and I really liked that little cheese bubble thing, right? So pick whatever logos you like, and essentially you can just right-click, copy the image address, and put it in a brief, and you'll be able to communicate that to your designer. Then ideas. Essentially, if you have a concept for your logo, you already know what you want, kind of, then just write it down. If you don't, then just ask them to come up with something. But in my case, I think I know what I want. It's like, in that case, I was thinking maybe you could put together a logo where we see a driver, that's a golf club, just in case he doesn't know, hit a ball off a tee. We'd like the design to feel modern and flat, similarly to the examples above. We'd like one with a green background. The green hex code is attached in the next section. That's essentially the code for the green that we are using here. So like I want him to use the same green as a background, so I can put it here and it's seamless. It feels like it's just all part of the same thing. And one with a transparent background that can be used on a white background, because otherwise that might not work. The name Skill Golf would appear on the right of it. The logo needs to be able to be shown in the header of the site, and then I just link to the site to whatever is live now, so that he sees that it should be more horizontal and vertical is very important. Colors, I just put the colors for the gray of the fonts. For this is white, and this is the green that we want him to use. For the fonts, we use railway and cabin. Target market, I just wrote a very simple one that says the vast majority of readers will be casual golfers or people thinking about starting playing golf. They will probably be aged between 30 and 60, males with high available income. And in the fonts, I'm actually going to add a note that says, feel free to use more funky fonts for the logo, like the ones in the example logos. So that he actually goes for something that's probably a little bit more funky than the railway and the other one we use, because it's pretty basic and my logo would look pretty basic otherwise. So that is basically it. My brief is ready, so I'm gonna be just editing this. Yep, and I am going to essentially be checking out. So I'm gonna be buying the 45 one. You can start with the $5 one if you are not ready to spend $45 on a logo, but I think I'm gonna be pretty happy with that. And you can buy a bunch of upsells, but in that case, I'm literally going to stick to that. Now I'm just gonna pay for this. I'm gonna pay with PayPal, and I'm probably gonna cut that video until the payment goes through. Actually, I didn't need to, so I'm just checking out, and probably it's gonna ask me to input my brief just after. So I'm just gonna put it in there. Yep, here you go. Please choose an industry for this logo. I'm gonna take something like about sports or something. Websites, I'm gonna put my URL. Business category, consulting, technology, etc. I'll be like content sites about golf and golf gear review. Company description, well, in that case, I prepared my brief already. Every kind of Fiverr seller has a different result, so that's why I didn't know exactly, but in that case, I have this. Preferred logo style, if any. Pictorial mark icon, I like that. So I'm gonna keep that. Preferred design style, I'll put flat/modern. and playful. Color preference, if any, here I'm gonna put the colors I prepared. So see, even though this guy has prepared pretty well in terms of brief, I can actually put my colors here. Notes, requirements, suggestions, if you have any. In that case, I'm gonna put my idea. And there he asked me to put sample logos. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just download these that I found, no problem. They're actually here. So I'm gonna save image and make a new folder. And just save these logos. And I'm gonna upload them here. And once everything is ready, I'm gonna start my order. And that's it. Normally in 2 days, I should be receiving the first version of my logo, and I will be able to, ask for revisions if I need to, and then incorporate the logo. I'll put it in the lesson below, so you see the final result I got from this guy. It cost me $47. You can go as low as $5. So if you really don't have the funds, that's completely fine. Or if you really don't want to spend any kind of money on your logo, just stick with the text, and that's completely fine as well. So that was basically basic branding. Once we have our logo here, I think I'm pretty happy. Maybe I'll change the color in the menu here, which you can also do in the customize section. In the menu part, in the header part, you can change the menu hover color, etc. So I'll put my navigation here, and I think I'll be pretty happy with the beginning of my website. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.